our first bundle sold 5,000 bundles, and we were able to donate over $45,000 to charity from that first bundle. So we put a second one together in October of 2014, and that bundle sold 22,000 bundles, and we were able to donate over $230,000, I believe, to charity from that. So it just kind of ramped up way quicker and was more impactful than we'd ever thought it would have been.
Hello everyone, Tomasz here, and this is another episode of Photography Radio. It's an extra episode, an additional one on top of our regular weekly schedule. I have a special interview for you to enjoy today. If you have been an active member of the online photography community for the last couple of years, you must have heard about the 5-day deal. 5daydeal.com is the most successful photography bundle being sold to hundreds of thousands of people every single year since 2014. And today I'm talking to the co-founder and owner of 5-Day Deal, Mr. Griffin Stewart. He launched 5-Day Deal back in 2014 together with his wife, Valerie. And every year, following their successful online photography events, they donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to their charity partners. The entire 5-Day Deal idea proves to be an amazing and successful concept over and over again. So I really wanted to dig deeper into the background story of this one-of-a-kind photographic undertaking. I do hope very much you will enjoy my conversation with Griffin Stewart.
Can you imagine your life without photography? No? Then you will love this show. And it doesn't matter if you're a DSLR, a mirrorless, or a mobile phone shooter. We're here to help your photography grow. This is Photography Radio.
Griffin, thanks so much for accepting my invitation. Welcome to Photography Radio. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it, Tomasz.
Very happy to have you here. 5-Day Deal. I remember the first time I heard about this event, I guess 5 or 6 years ago. You just finished running this 6th edition, right, of 5-Day Deal. It's an online event where you are offering a special photography bundle, like full of educational resources like videos and PDF downloads, courses, all possible kinds of valuable educational photography content. And at the same time, you are supporting a good cause because you are working with charity organizations, right? And I just noticed, I saw this year, you guys raised $170,000 for charity partners. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, it's been a real blessing. And when we first started out, we had a goal of, maybe donating $30,000 or $50,000 a year. And we've been able some years, most years, to donate over $200,000 to charity. So it's been a really, really fun business to have started. And it's just really cool to see how the photography community has come together to make it happen.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, this is a wonderful, amount of money to support. You can share with us later exactly which kind of charity organizations you are supporting, but it's beautiful and it's wonderful that you can do it, working with the photography community, both the photographers, who are offering their products, and of course the entire worldwide community of photographers who are using those products later. So I couldn't think about a better example where photography, is contributing to a beautiful cause. So let's have a look, because we can have some listeners who maybe haven't heard about 5-Day Deal yet. So let's take this year's edition, and this year's bundle as an example. Mm-hmm. So you are reaching out to, can you run us through to the whole entire process? Like you are reaching to photographers, right? And you are looking for products that you can include in the bundle, right?
Yeah. So we try to reach out to any photographers that have great products and a great social reach that can help us make the sale be a success. And so we reach out and see if they are interested in participating. And we pay a commission to anyone that partners with us. And so we pay a generous commission on any sales that they make. And then 10% gets donated to charity. And then we make enough sales where a 5-day deal makes some money on the back end. And so a lot of partners call it a win-win-win because we feel like it's everybody wins with our partnership. And it's a lot of fun to see just the impact that's possible. And of course, also the customers win because they get great training at a fraction of the price. And it's been fun this year, especially since we've been in business for 5 years. It's been fun. We've seen it in our Facebook group and via our support email. A lot of our customers just saying like, hey, I've been a fan of 5-day deal for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and learned so much. And they're just so thankful to us and really to our partners that make it possible. So.
Yeah, wonderful. So for example, this year's product, the bundle was, and correct me if I'm mistaken, I think it costed $79. Is correct?
It was 89, but yeah,
$89.
Close enough.
And it's basically packed with. I mean, how many products were included in the bundle?
There was only over 20 tutorials in the bundle, and it was worth more than or almost $3,000.
So this is incredible value, and to be honest, and I will hit you with this question. I'm really curious, like how are you able to strike such a deal with all those photographers? Because the value which you're offering, for this price is just crazy.
Yeah.
So are the photographers basically also, are some of them donating their products as well for the cause?
So, well, technically everybody kind of donates their products and then we give them a special link to help promote the sale. And every time there's a sale through that link for a contributor, they're making 50% or more of that sale. So that's how our partners get compensated for participating. And a lot of partners too, they'll find that, they'll make as much money as if they launched a new product, but it's with their existing product. And we provide all the graphics and try to provide as much support as we can so that most partners, like we had one partner of the sale say, it provides as much revenue to their small business as a product launch, but with like 1/10 the effort. So
because it's an existing product already, right?
Yeah, an existing product, and we're helping with all of their graphics and social media and that kind of resources.
So I can imagine, as you said, you started 5 years ago, right? With the first edition, there was the first edition of 5-day deal. So let's rewind a little bit because you are a photographer yourself. You photograph yourself?
Yeah, sure am. Yeah, I enjoyed landscape photography.
Landscape. Okay. So I can imagine you have been doing it, for years. And then when did you come up with this idea? Like, can you take us back to this moment a little bit? And how much brainstorming was involved, when coming with this brilliant kind of, system here, scheme, right?
Sure. Yeah. I'd love to take credit, but it's actually not my idea. Me and my wife, we traveled to over 60 countries. I used to do graphic and web design. And so we would travel and live out of a backpack. And we're really blessed to be able to do that. And during that time, one of my clients was Trey Ratcliffe of Stuck in Customs. And I managed his ebook store that he had for a little while called Flatbooks. And so I was in charge of, kind of onboarding partners, getting their product set up, getting it ready for sale, that kind of thing. And so through that, I met a lot of photographers. And one of the authors on his store wanted to do a photography bundle. So they asked me how much I would charge to do graphic and web design. And from traveling and from being a small business owner myself, I had purchased some travel bundles that had happened and also some small business bundles that had happened. So I loved the bundle model, and I'd always been interested in doing that for photography, but I never knew how the finances work out. And just like you said, I never knew why are all these people giving their products and how does that work? And, how is that a win-win for them? So this couple asked me to do their graphic and web design. And I said, well, it would be, pretty expensive because it was a big, lots of graphics go into a bundle, lots of working on their checkout card and everything was a lot of work. So I said, how about we partner and then we can do it together. So we put it together, and in January 2014, we launched our first bundle. And again, we were hoping for maybe 10 or 20,000 a sale, or around 30 or 40 or 50,000 to donate to charity a year. And our first bundle sold 5,000 bundles, and we were able to donate over $45,000 to charity from that first bundle. So we put a second one together in October of 2014, and that bundle sold 22,000 bundles, and we were able to donate over $230,000, I believe, to charity from that. So it just kind of ramped up way quicker and was more impactful than we'd ever thought it would have been. So.
Was it way more difficult in with the very first editions of the 5 Deal to to spread the word? Like I can imagine you were working with the photographers involved in the bundle, but and today, after a couple of years, of course, the photographic community is kind of getting is already informed about what's happening, and probably it's a bit easier with spreading the word. But how was it in the early days? Did you have to work hard or really putting the word out?
Yeah, great question. Thankfully, we've had amazing partners since launch, and so we've been able to spread the word through our partners, and that's our main, that's the main people that help make the sale a success, is our contributor partners and affiliate partners. So it's actually, I would say it's gotten harder since the first launch, just because we've had some competitors come up, and then it's interesting to see, like, some people, get in and out of photography over a 3 to 5 year span. And so, a lot of the customers that we had at the beginning, some of those are no longer into photography. So we're always having to find some new customers.
So who are this year? Who are the charity partners you work with? Like, do you rotate them or change them on a yearly basis, or is it like partners you have been working for a couple of years already?
Yeah, great question. So Mercy Ships is our longest running charity partner, and they basically take a cruise ship and convert it into a hospital, and then sail it around mostly Africa and provide life-saving and life-changing surgeries to people that couldn't afford it otherwise. They just do it for free. So we love those guys, and they do a great job. And then the other charities, we typically have a charity on usually for around 2 to 3 years at the most, and then we kind of change them up. And we're always just, our customers can vote in the checkout which charity they want the percentage that we donate to go to. So we're always checking those stats and seeing, like, okay, did customers really like this charity, or is there another one that we might be able to bring in that they would really appeal to them? So, but yeah, we've got Mercy Ships, and then Make-A-Wish Colorado is our kind of local charity that we partner with. And we donate to Make-A-Wish International as well, which is the global part of that. And then Orbis is another really cool charity where they take huge planes like 747s and stuff, and they convert them into an eye hospital, and then they fly those to, a bit poorer countries and give eye surgeries. And their mission is to transform lives through the treatment and prevention of avoidable blindness. And they said there's over 70% of blindness in the world is preventable. So as photographers and as creative people, that one really spoke to us. It's just...
Absolutely. Yeah. I find it absolutely wonderful when I saw you are supporting, and helping blind people. This is, it couldn't get basically more touching, in coming from us photographers who work with visuals, right?
Exactly.
To help those people. So this is amazing work you guys are doing. I also noticed, is it a separate part of the project, that you have your own foundation, 5 Deal Foundation, or is it just the name of the actual foundation, which is then supporting those charity organizations?
Yeah, it's just basically a placeholder. So we use that. We found out a couple of years ago that, it was great, the amount of money we were able to donate to charities, but a lot of the featured charities that we have, they'll have, 20 million or more in donations a year. So our donations aren't as impactful. We still love what they do, and we're glad to help support them. But what we wanted to do was also support smaller charities. So we use the 5 Day Deal Foundation. It's just a pass through where 100% of any money that we designate as 5 Day Deal Foundation goes to some smaller charity partners. And those are on our About page. But smaller charity partners and also other various charities that serve different things. So we support, there's one charity that's really cool called Task Force ISO that is actually one of our customers that lives in Denver. And he started this organization that uses photography as a kind of, as a psychological healing tool for veterans with PTSD and other issues. And, just kind of uses different analogies in photography, and they do event photography, and, it just creates a kind of bond for them. So that one's really cool, called Task Force ISO. We also do a lot of outdoor, like the Nature Conservancy and the Conservation Alliance, donate to them, and a bunch of, it's over, now we're up to over 70 different charities that we try to support every sale. So
no, this is just mind-boggling, kind of what you build up with the with this project. I mean, it's a big thing, right? Today, do you still photograph yourself?
Yeah. I make time. We've got two twin girls, 2.5, and we just had a baby that's 1 month. So.
Why? Congrats.
We don't. Thanks so much. Yeah. So we don't travel as much, but yeah, I love getting out there and taking photos and enjoy.
So you're into landscapes mainly?
Yep, sure am.
Okay, and nice places in your area to photograph, I imagine.
Yeah, I live in Colorado Springs, and so we've got beautiful Rocky Mountains and Rocky Mountain National Park and some others that are fun. And all the snow is right now. We're getting a ton of snow, so that's fun as well.
Okay, what is your camera of choice these days?
I've got an Olympus. It's an OM. I think I don't know the model number very well, but it's like OME5 or something. And yeah, I've really enjoyed that. I started out Canon, but this one I realized, like, for me when I was traveling, it's like the lighter the camera, the better. So it's a Micro Four Thirds, but I've been amazed and impressed at what it can do, and it even has built-in image stabilization, so I've been able to take a 1-second exposure handheld, which blows my mind. So so
you can leave your tripod at home at some days.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Listen, I just quickly back to the 5 Day Deal.
Yeah.
To the idea, to the concept.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering, like, okay, how did you come up with 5 days? Like, why not 1, 3, or 7? How did you come up? Did you test it? Like, where did it come from?
Yeah, that's a great question. We just kind of, as a team, we decided that we felt like 4 days was not enough, and we felt like 7 days is kind of too much, especially we're sending typically 1 and sometimes more than 1 email per day during the event. And a lot of our partners are doing the same to help get the word out. So from what we've seen, and thankfully, like, back in 5 years ago, we just kind of picked it. But from what we've seen, it seems to be pretty much the perfect amount of time for us to have a very high intensity sale and launch without people getting too tired of hearing about it. So enough people hear about it that need to, and those that already heard about it from day one, they aren't too fatigued from it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can imagine those 5 days. Does it get stressful? Like, I can imagine all those amount of hits from the entire world, to your servers. Is it stressful? Yeah. Do you sleep? Do you sleep? During those 5 days?
We're typically awake, working 14 to 16 hours, just kind of making sure everything's going well. But yeah, thankfully we've got a great server company and partners that we work with called Performance Foundry and Pagely. And our first 3 sales, our site would consistently crash right at the beginning and right at the end. And
okay,
so we found yeah, that was very stressful. So we finally found these guys, and thankfully, since we've moved over there, we have not crashed. So,
excellent. Yeah. And Griffin, can I ask, okay, this is 5 days, but I can imagine, the entire, the whole time of preparations, of finding the partners, negotiating with the partners, or how long is it like, okay, this is 5 days once a year now. How much of the entire year, is it your full-time job, like the entire year?
It is.
Or you still have it? It is. Okay. Wow. So you're basically working on this, like, the entire year round?
Yeah. I mean, we take like about a month of vacation, but pretty much 11 months of the year, we're working hard on this, and it's me and then my wife, and we've got another full-time person that's kind of our recruitment manager, and then some contractors as well that help us out. But yeah, it's a huge undertaking to try and get everybody on board and get the files and get them organized and get everybody up to speed. So yeah, it's a full year-round job, and we've seen a few other companies pop up here and there that try to make it a part-time job or a side job, and they aren't around anymore. So
okay, so are you living your dream life right now?
Yeah, we are so thankful, for how 5 Day Deal has done for us and partners and charity, and I'm just so thankful to our contributor partners. We get to work with some of the best photographers in the world, and they're just awesome people and awesome small business owners. And then also our customers are just amazing. It's fun to watch them learn and improve. And most of them, the majority are hobbyists, but there's also a lot of small business owners, especially as we've added kind of more advanced products and more business related tutorials. And so it's been great to see, people say, the 5 Day Deal was the best investment I've ever made in my photography. So that's been really fun.
Excellent. Those 5 years ago, when you were starting, planning the very first deal, was it your clear plan? Was it more like an experiment? Were you expecting anything at the time, or completely like exceeded your expectations? What happened?
Yeah, it totally exceeded our expectations. I did graphic and web design, and me and my wife had saved up. And so I took about 3 months where I didn't do any graphic and web design client work, and I just worked on this. And so it was, we were kind of like, okay, well, we've got some money saved up. We'll try this for 3 months and launch it. And then if it doesn't work, then I'll go back to graphic and web design. And, pretty much as soon as that sale was over, it was like, okay, well, now we've got a different, career and job going forward of running 5 Day Deals. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Congrats. It's a big achievement. One question I want to ask you, because you communicate, you talk a lot to photography educators, workshop organizers, probably, you name it.
Yeah.
How do you see it? Do you have a feeling for which direction the photography education is going? I am, of course, referring to things like YouTube, so the free content, which we can, of course, find a lot of it on the internet and learn a lot from those things. What do you think would be the most valuable pieces of photography education, educational content in the upcoming years? Like, do you sense some kind of direction in which it is going?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think, from what we've seen, of course, there's YouTube and there's great content on there. A lot of the YouTube channels that have great content, they typically also have premium paid tutorials as well.
Right.
And so from what we've seen, like, every year YouTube videos get better in their production and that kind of thing. But typically the partners we work with, they don't make their money from YouTube ads. So most of our partners, if they're a portrait photographer, they make money from taking portraits. If they're a landscape photographer, they make their money from taking landscapes, and then also teaching how to do that. So, I'm not saying that there's not YouTube educators that are great, but the partners that we partner with are typically like, that their main business is photography versus making YouTube tutorials. kind of thing. And so I think that's one thing that
I understand. I understand. And I'm wondering about the perspective of the photographer who wants to learn, because I can imagine. I mean, I know there is great, less great, mediocre. There's everything we can find on YouTube. I'm just wondering if you see what are the things people who want to learn photography are actually willing to spend money on, because. First thing which pops up to mind is, okay, let's check what's on YouTube. What can I learn there, right? But probably do you think that there's still a limit, and then actually those paid products deliver still way higher value? Would you say so?
Yeah, great question. And I started photography, I guess, 2004 or 5. And so, a lot of my photography has been reading super long blog posts, reading the full user manual that comes with your camera that I don't think anybody reads anymore.
I never did it. Right. So respect.
So, to me, 10 years ago or more, it was a lot harder to learn. And now you do have great resources like YouTube, where if you're looking for a specific, very specific slice of, how do I take, I don't know, extended exposure waterfall shots, then it's like, yeah, you can go to YouTube and you can find a thing on that, and then you can go play and have fun. But with the premium tutorials, typically, I mean, like there's a couple tutorials where it's 2 or 3 hours. And at the end of those 2 or 3 hours, like, Lightroom in and out, or, not Photoshop in and out, because that takes probably 5 years of straight video watching. But, right. Enough about Photoshop where you can make your images look the way you want. And so I think both have their place. And I think YouTube's a great resource if you have more time than money. And then if you have, less time and are trying to learn everything in a condensed setting, then I think premium tutorials are a great option. And then with 5-day deal, we make those, they're 95% off or more. So you're paying 5% of the total cost that you would. So I think we're kind of a nice medium between a free YouTube video and a full.
Sounds like a best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, that's what we try.
Okay. Your plans for the future. What's coming up? Where do you see 5-day deal in 5 years? What's happening? Do you have clear plans or dreams when it comes to the entire project?
Great question. So this sale, we tried something new. We tried kind of a beta test for U.S. customers only of offering a SD card shipped to their house with all of their bundle products on it, so that they didn't have to download. And we were expecting, maybe a couple hundred of those orders. And we ended up getting 800 orders. So me and my wife, Valerie, we've turned our home office into a shipping and supply center, and realized that we don't really enjoy the physical product business as much as the digital one.
It's not fun. Yeah.
But yeah, from that feedback and that response, we're looking to potentially add streaming options in the future. And we may continue the SD if we can find a good company that can do it. We basically have been working 12-hour days since October 8th, and we haven't been paid for our time in what we sold the SD cards for. But it was just we look at it as just a learning test.
Are you done now with shipping?
We almost are. We get our last batch. The other thing too, I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to buy 800 SD cards, but we kept running into, we could only buy 30 per week, or they didn't have that many, or whatever. So we get our last shipment today, and then once those are duplicated and packed up, we'll get to sleep. So
excellent. So I can imagine you are taking now soon, few weeks off, or have you already started working on the 5-day deal 2020?
So we've got a small business bundle that we'll be launching in Q1. So we're kind of ramping up on that. And then we've also got our Black Friday. But yeah, we're looking at December is going to be kind of a relaxed month and spend time with our families. So we're excited about that.
Sure. I think you deserved this, guys. I mean, this must have been a crazy time for you.
Thanks.
Griffins, thanks so much. All the best, with the future editions. I will be surely, watching it, being a customer if I see, interesting things inside.
All right. Awesome.
So, all the best. And thanks so much for coming on the show. And, greetings to your wife and much success in next year.
No, thanks so much, Tomasz. I appreciate it. And thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a great day, everyone. Let your photography friends know about Photography Radio, and if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the podcast. Head over to photographyradio.com to find out how to do it. My name is Tomasz, and I will talk to you